August 2nd, 2025. A Russian soldier caught on an open road in exposed terrain becomes the target of an FPV drone. Desperately trying to escape, he performs various evasive maneuvers to avoid the drone. However, the Ukrainian drone operator remains determined not to let him get away. After putting up quite a fight, the Russian soldier tripped and fell, becoming an easy target for the drone. Ukraine's 414th Strike UAV Brigade spotted 3 Russian soldiers. They were seen entering a well-concealed underground shelter hidden among the ruins. Shortly after, an FPV drone was launched toward the bunker. The drone, carrying a high-explosive payload, moved in to strike the entrance of the shelter. A massive explosion followed, burying the soldiers under the rubble. Caught alone in open terrain, a Russian soldier became the target of a Ukrainian FPV drone. He made a last-second attempt to escape, but it was too late. Russian soldiers who turned abandoned houses into military shelters were once again spotted inside one such building. 2 drone strikes were carried out on the structure. While the first strike caused serious damage, the second was far more intense. With the collapse of the building, none of the soldiers managed to escape. A Russian soldier was seen attempting to stop a drone targeting him using a stick, but he was ultimately unsuccessful. August 2nd, 2025. In the Kharkiv region, a Ukrainian soldier threw a 120mm mortar shell into a basement occupied by a Russian soldier who refused to surrender. The operation was carried out by the Black Fenrir Group. Ukrainian fiber optic FPV drones from the Signum Battalion eliminated Russian soldiers, logistics, and vehicles in the Lyman direction. In the first attack, the vehicle's driver compartment is targeted. The second attack targets a vehicle they tried to conceal from the drones. Not only military vehicles, but also Russian infantry are being targeted by FPV drones. The Russian army continues to be helpless against drones since the beginning of the war. Even just a few drones are causing serious military damage. A Russian assault trooper was carrying a TM-62 anti-tank mine to blow up a Ukrainian position, but was hit by an FPV drone. He fell into Yagoza-type barbed wire and got tangled in it. The Muramasa unit, affiliated with Ukraine's 109th TDF Brigade, neutralized motorcycle soldiers in the direction of Pokrovsk. Kamikaze drone attacks targeted not only soldiers on motorcycles, but also military vehicles. Although the Russian army uses motorcycles to move quickly across the terrain, this also makes them easy targets. The Ukrainian Air Force, employing guided bombs, strikes the deployment site of Russian forces in the Belgorod region. On the morning of August 2nd, 2025, a Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle struck the oil refinery in the city of Novokuybishevsk near Samara. This attack by Ukraine is seen as a retaliation and a logistics operation in response to Russia's drone strikes on Kiev. Ukrainian soldiers from the Black Swan Assault Battalion of the 225th Separate Assault Regiment destroyed a Russian FPV drone that was lying in wait on the ground to ambush them in the Sumy direction. Ukraine's 30th Mechanized Brigade set up an ambush with FPV drones targeting 2 Russian soldiers on the road. When the soldiers noticed the drone, they attempted to escape, but by then, they were already locked on as targets. A Russian assault group was spotted in Chasiv Yar by Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade. Interestingly, several female soldiers were observed among the assault groups, likely recruited from Russian penal colonies. The Russian soldiers, preparing to spread out, were unaware they were being watched by drones. They began to split into groups, moving in 3 different directions. It wasn't long before Ukrainian artillery opened fire. As the shelling began, the Russian soldiers started to scatter before they could even establish proper positions. Those who took cover among the ruins became easy targets for the artillery. Cluster shells inflicted heavy damage on the Russian troops in the open. In about half an hour, 6 Russian soldiers were neutralized, and 7 others were seriously wounded. An armored vehicle was also taken out by an FPV drone. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out a full salvo strike with GBU-39 SDB glide bombs on Russian positions in the town of Hlyberg, Kharkiv Oblast. Near Soledar, the drone unit of the 30th Separate Mechanized Brigade continues to target Russian logistics using fiber optic drones funded by Sternenko. Recent strikes have destroyed 2 vans, a car, a quad bike, and a Chornoy Oko electronic warfare system that was hidden inside a building. July 31st, 2025. Belarusian volunteers from the Kalinowski Regiment of Ukraine's Defense Intelligence continue to eliminate Russian targets on the Zaporizhzhia front line. Numerous Russian trenches have been destroyed by kamikaze drones, while Russian military vehicles along critical supply routes have also been targeted. In just 1 week, the Kalinowski Regiment successfully carried out strikes on 15 Russian military vehicles and more than 10 Russian positions. The Ukrainian Samurai unit from the UAV battalion of the 117th Mechanized Brigade successfully shot down a Russian Gebera drone near the Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka area. Fiber optic FPV drones from Ukraine's 5th Assault Brigade struck Russian infantry positions in the Chasiv area. These high-tech drones provide Ukrainian forces with a crucial advantage by delivering real-time intelligence and carrying out precise strikes. In July 2025, the Ukrainian 3rd Battalion of the 79th Air Assault Brigade successfully destroyed a Russian tank, infantry units, and an armored vehicle in the Sumy direction. Ukrainian drone operators targeted not only actively moving Russian armored vehicles, but also abandoned ones. This strategy aims to prevent these vehicles from being repaired and reused by Russian forces. Additionally, some abandoned vehicles serve as hiding spots for Russian soldiers. August 1st, 2025, Ukrainian border guards from the UAS Regiment Phoenix destroyed Russian logistics and artillery positions behind the front lines in the Kostiantynivka direction. The main priority of all these drone attacks is to halt the advance of Russian forces and undermine their control in the region. Since the beginning of the war, Russian troops have suffered heavy losses against drones. Drone ambushes are set up along every route they take, and they still don't have a fully secured front line anywhere. Russian turtle tanks were destroyed by the Ukrainian Wormbusters unit of the 414th UAV Brigade, known as Magyar's Birds, on the Pokrovsk front. Russian tanks, known as turtle tanks, get their name from the heavy armor added specifically to protect against drones. Extra armor plating around the exterior is meant to shield them from drone attacks. However, this added protection makes the tanks slower and less mobile. Despite their increased durability, these Russian tanks still couldn't escape being destroyed. As of August 2nd, 2025, the Russia-Ukraine war continues with high intensity, particularly along key front lines such as Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson. While territorial shifts have become more limited compared to previous years, the pace and lethality of battlefield engagements remain high. Ukrainian forces continue to focus on precision operations aimed at degrading Russian logistics, command centers, and infantry concentrations. One of the most defining features of the current phase of the war is the dominance of drone warfare. Ukrainian drone units, ranging from small FPV attack teams to strategic reconnaissance squadrons, play a crucial role in shaping the battlefield. Daily strikes target Russian armored vehicles, fortifications, and even individual soldiers, often deep behind the front lines. Kamikaze drones, in particular, have become a symbol of Ukraine's asymmetric advantage, turning low-cost technology into high-impact results.